Hi friends, and welcome back to playing tribute to Ace Attorney Dual Destinies, where we are on episode 2, The Monstrous Turnabout, and we're about to go into court. Now, it's been a while since I've played, even though the upload schedule is the same for you, so that probably means that I'm going to be actually looking through my evidence as we go along. So, if I recall, this was a flashback case of when Athena first met Apollo. We even had a little bit of Apollo's gimmick out in the field, which is new for this game, because Athena's gimmick goes on in the trial. So let's see what sorts of things we're going to be dealing with. Because, of course, we have the whole trying to prove that our client is innocent, but also knowing that the victim couldn't possibly have been killed by a mythological creature. So, yeah. Of course, we saw the villain at the beginning of the case, too, so I don't know. I'm still very confused about how they gave away the answer. Kind of. Anyway, let's see if I can remember all the voices I had, because it has been a while since I recorded. You okay, Athena? You've been really antsy ever since we got here. I'm just excited. This is my first real court case, after all. Yeah, a real ball of excitement she is. I know just what she needs. Cords of steel. Yeah, cords of steel. Athena! Eek! Didn't you ever learn about indoor and outdoor voices? I'm just trying to show you the best way to relieve your pre-trial jitters. By scaring the daylights out of me? No, I find that shouting, "I'm fine!" in a loud voice really relieves stress. It's part of my Cords of Steel voice workout and a must before every trial. You want me to shout? Here? That's right, here. I'll go first, then you try. I'm Apollo Justice and I'm fine! Alright, I'm Athena Sykes. And I'm fine. I think that actually worked. Thought it might help. Always works for me. An old friend of mine from junior high and I say it all the time. I see. A proven remedy to calm the soul. I like it. Hey, how about we finish off with a race around the courthouse? The point is to relieve stress, not get totally exhausted. Oh, relieve stress, not get totally exhausted. I thought he was going to be stressed out. That's why I emphasized it that way. What's with all the racket, you two? Oh, Mr. Wright! Just a little voice workout. Hey, what's with the suit? Oh, this? I was thinking about getting my attorney's badge back, that's all. Oh, he doesn't have it. I didn't even notice. It's not there yet. That's all? That's huge news. But why now? I have a feeling I'll be needing it in the courtroom again sometime soon. But we can talk about that another time. Oh, fair. Inquiring minds want to know. I love how mysterious Phoenix gets in these games. Like, he's your main character for, like, the first games, obviously, but then he becomes all mysterious and dodgy in the Apollo's game, and now he's just like, yes, I am the silent hero that works behind the scenes all the time. Can you tell I'm very excited to be back playing this game? Even though, to you, it's been a couple of days, but to me, I'm like, oh, finally back. But wow. I'm so used to him in his usual laid-back clothes. Oh, that's right, yeah. I like 3D laid-back Phoenix. Looking good. Now he's... I guess it would be the first time that Apollo really sees him in a suit. The suit makes him look like $1 million. By the way, have you heard about the prosecutor assigned to this case? Yeah, he's serving time, but before that he was a prosecutor. He also uses psychology. That's right. I've heard the rumors about how he was back before his conviction. Using the power of suggestion, he could make even the most stalwart... I don't think I've ever pronounced that word. Stalwart defendants confess. Psychology in the courtroom. I've been hearing a lot about that lately. So he must be a pretty scary guy, considering he's a prison inmate and all. So they say. They also say he'll cut you down if you talk too much. Ah! I knew it was going to be bad news. It's probably just hyperbole. At least, I hope for your sake. I had no problem reading that word. Wait, so is it true or not? He's laughing at me again. Let's just say you should be concise and choose your words carefully. If you'd like to keep that head of yours attached to the rest of your body, then. That is. Yikes. Better tone down my cords of steel, too. So are you all ready? Might be a good idea to check the court record again before stepping into the ring. You know what, Phoenix? It's funny you mentioned that because I do need to do that. Thank you very much. Oops. Did not mean to do that. Okay. So we've got the Yokai Legends scroll, which shows us a picture of the creatures. And it's the only one of its kind because people don't paint it because it's like bad news. This is the warding charm Jinxie gave. Ninetails flower is a big deal. Oh, of course, because we always have a flying suspect. What's a Phoenix Wright or an Ace Attorney game without somebody flying somewhere? This is our diagram. The Fox Chamber was the crime scene. Something about the air duct was suspicious, I think, but nobody could reach it. And Jinxie was in the hallway on the phone, and then she passed by the creature. And then the security camera, right? Okay. Statue that was at the crime scene. It has blood on it. Was probably used to knock our client unconscious. Here's... Whoops, I did not mean to press B. I meant to press A. Come on now. Yes, so he has a bloody head, and then he's dead on the table. And it was weird that he was so far away from the chair, I think we were talking about. And then the footprints are weird. And then we discovered that he was a wrestler, and he was the Amazing Ninetails. Here he is, being all awesome and stuff. Jinxie... Oh, this is her saying that she saw it in the hallway. And he was carrying a staff that jingled. No one else was in the hall. And then that was kind of overlapping with Filch and... What's his face? This was a disaster. Because the wrestler didn't appear. Like, this guy didn't appear. Because he's dead. Because we're thinking that he's the same person. LaBelle, that was his name. LaBelle. Supposed to be in retirement at age 34. I don't think he's staying in retirement, buddy. Alright. Right, Mr. Wright. But I'm fine. I'll be watching from the gallery. Good luck. Thanks! Okay, let's do this. The odds of pulling this off are ridiculously low, but that's nothing new. Believe in our client. Seek the truth. That's all we can do. Hang in there, Mayor Tamina. Here comes justice. I do like his little catchphrase. Catchphrases. I do like his whole Court of Steel, I'm fine routine, too. It's amusing. Oh, it's so fancy. I forgot how fancy it was. All rise for the honorable judge. Oh, you could see Apollo between shoulders in the side there. Could you see the prosecutor? I wasn't even looking. I guess we'll find out what he looks like if you got a sneak peek. Yay. If not, welcome to a new game. Court is now in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. Apollo Justice, defense team leader, is ready, Your Honor. I'd know that big booming voice anywhere. As chipper as ever, Mr. Justice. But who's the young lady next to you? Amethyta Sykes, Mr. Justice's junior partner and fresh out of law school. Oh, full of beans too, eh? Excellent. Makes an old man feel young again. Now for the prosecution. Oh, well then I guess you couldn't have seen the prosecution, because he's not there. And Pierce prosecution's not ready yet. How did I have his voice like a superhero kind of This guy. Never fear, for I shall explain. It's just a minor procedural complication, Your Honor. The prosecutor for this case is being escorted from prison as we speak. Prison? Oh, yes, of course. I almost forgot that he is currently serving time. Meet the Twisted Samurai. In a cutscene.
Yup, Prosecutor Blackwell's an inmate. But even a convicted murderer still got a job to do and duties to perform.
I guess I'm pretty close with his voice. With Fulbright's voice. Who's that with his back to us over there? That's him. I'm sure of it. Prosecutor Blackwell. Is the prosecution ready? Enough jabbering and get on with it already. I actually don't know whether he speaks in any cutscenes, so I'm just rolling with it. Of course, forgive me. Why are all the people related to this case so scary? Very well, Prosecutor Blackwell. Your opening statement, if you please. Ah! What's the matter? Must we continue to fritter away time like this? It is all right there in the indictment. An opening statement would be pointless. Pointless? Well. Looks like the cat, or in this case, the prosecutor, has the judge's tongue. We need an opening statement, as an overview of the case at hand. Well then, your baldness, if it's so very important, why don't you do the honors? Me? Whine and fuss about how they need silly and useless things. And then decide they no longer want them once it's theirs, a selfish old fool. Huh? Oh, wait, was that the prosecution's opening statement? Old dotards such as you are a plague upon the young. I pity your poor grandchildren. Or is it great-grandchildren? All these years I thought the opening statement was the prosecutor's job. But I suppose I could give it a try. It might be a nice change of pace. What? He actually fell for that! That must have been power of suggestion Mr. Wright was talking about. The opening statement, huh? Let's see here. The victim was one Rex Hubie, an alderman of Ninetails Vale. And the defendant, Damien Tenma, mayor of Tenma Town, is accused of his murder. And why, pray tell, was the mayor arrested? His prints were on the murder weapon. Unless he had a motive, the elimination of the biggest roadblock in the municipal merger. The caretaker and the secretary, other potential suspects, both have alibis. And his daughter, who is also in the vicinity at the time of the incident, has no motive. So in a nutshell, I'd have to say the charges against the defendant are incontrovertible. Bravo, your boldness. Your years of experience shine bright like your head. Flattery will get you everywhere. He's playing Simon Says with the judge. It's funny, considering I think that his first name is Simon. I'm pretty sure. I think it's Simon Blackwell, right? Yeah. Simon Says. Moving right along now, let's hear from our first witness for today, Detective Fulbright. This guy. Witness, please state your name and occupation. I am the detective assigned to this case. Bobby Fulbright. Oh, and I'll also be keeping tabs on old Blackquill here. I also heard he will provide protection if it ever came to that. His eyes. It seems that I have been sorely underestimated. Wait, who's protecting who from what? Still, I truly believe anyone can turn their life around, even old Blackquill here. Fulbright. Save your platitudes for funerals. Get on with your statement. So, the relationship between prosecutor and detective has always been amusing. This one, it's like, who has power over whom in this case? Because, like, he's supposed to be overseeing his, you know, being a prisoner and all that, but he's still the prosecutor with the boss kind of aspect to Fulbright. He's gonna call him Foolbright a bunch. Yeah. Interesting relationship as always. Ha ha ha, that's the spirit. Justice must be swift and true. I see it in your eyes. There is hope for your rehabilitation and return to society. I will never give up on you. Or, I will never give up on you. I don't know why I thought Blackwell said that. Prosecutor Blackwell doesn't seem to intimidate Detective Fulbright. Well, you know what they say, ignorance is bliss. So that's why Detective Fulbright was assigned to Blackwell. He's so oblivious. Now let's have your first statement, Detective Fulbright. You got it, but first I'd like to say to the defense that justice will ultimately prevail. Yes, yes I will. This is where we press everything, because he's just talking about the murder. Alderman QB was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. The fingerprints of the defendant Damien Tenma were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman QB was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Tenma attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. Wow. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake and he grabbed a statue and struck back. Alderman QB had been slipped some kind of sleep-inducing drug? That's right! The accused was scared because the alderman was a former pro wrestler, so he slipped him a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Here's the autopsy report to prove it. Stabbed with the spear, estimated time of death, around 3:20. Victim had been drug-induced slumber. We finally have a time. I don't think we ever had a time yet. Unless things were just kind of talked about in general. I think they said that it happened around this time. Okay. And the victim managed to attack his attacker, despite being impaled by a spear. That sounds almost superhuman. Is it even possible? Well, he was a former pro wrestler, after all. That spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him, except it killed him.
Objection!
Not so fast! Don't try to brush it all off by saying the alderman had been a pro wrestler. Do you really expect to believe he could fight back after being skewered by a spear? Never heard of the incredible feats of which man is capable of in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, wrestlers can battle through intense pain. It sharpens their senses. I used to talk about it with a former wrestler I met in Clink. I don't know. Still sounds a little far-fetched. Does it now? Then perhaps we should test the theory on you with the edge of my blade. I didn't sign up for this! He does not have a sword. They would not be so dumb. And so your life is spared. For now. Also, he is chained up. Please let the shackles be made of titanium. I don't want to die. Ha ha! My investigations are thorough as they are foolproof. Or my name isn't Fulbright. I vow to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest. The accused prints were on the weapon, and he is the one person without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence, wouldn't you agree? Your boldness. The defendant is sounding guiltier by the minute. Here's the judge leaning toward a guilty verdict, and the trial's just barely begun. What's more, a curious rumor about the accused is making the rounds. They say he's the murderer for the purpose of freeing Tenmataro from his imprisonment. Truth be told, I can think of no real reason to show interest in that backwards burg. Perhaps he's a complete nutter who really does seek to release an imaginary demon. Either way, he is raving mad and more than capable of murdering the alderman. That mayor is a strange one, all right. I heard he went to a blood drive, but instead of donating, he tried to make a withdrawal. What is he, a vampire? Order, there be no gossiping in my court. Your boldness, please take a gander at these charms plastered across his cranium. I hear they're meant to keep him safe from possession by the demon Tenma Turner. Then again, perhaps he's already under the demon's spell. So you just called the demon imaginary. Blackwell, you're not making sense. You're trying to jump on so many he just jumped on like, oh, okay, let's go with the rumors and the far-fetchedness stuff. Let's do it. Behold, the lunatic appears poised to lunge at you at any moment. Yep! Hold it! The rumors and quirks of Mayor Tenma have no relevance to this case. Besides, those charms on his head, they're just a fashion statement, I think. Come to think of it, such things don't seem relevant to the case, do they? The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud. Oh, what a dreadful, fearsome lass we have here. Thanks for that lifeline, Athena. Careful, Apollo. He has the judge dancing in the palm of his hand. Power of suggestion is one of the more powerful tools in Simon Blackwell's arsenal. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impressions to suit his objectives. This guy really is bad news. In any case, it seems the victim did manage to defend himself despite being impaled. What sort of weapon did he use against his attacker? None other than this statue right here. It appears to be a statue of two strange creatures locked in battle. Two yokai, to be exact. One side is the nine-tailed fox, and the other, Tenma Taro. Quite interesting, if you think about it. It's as though the very case were rendered in art. Yeah, okay. So we knew that already. No prints could be listed. Or lifted. Interesting. That may come in handy later. He doesn't have gloves or anything like that. So he should have left prints. That might come up later. We'll try to keep that in mind. In the meantime, we press everything because this is the informational testimony. Alderman Hugo was murdered.
Hold it!
So, those weapons on the wall of Fox Chamber, I presume those are real? Don't you think keeping real weapons around like that is rather dangerous? No matter what he collected, the alderman insisted it be the real deal. For instance, he had a real demon's club in his possession. Apparently, one of his ancestors claimed it after defeating a demon in battle. Well, that's gotta be an old wives' tale. Ha ha ha! The alderman had a pure, unadulterated justice flowing in his veins. Whatever he did right. We've lost a real champion of justice in his death. Nothing but claptrap and balderdash, if you ask me. Now stop your bleating and tell us about the weapon. Your wish is my command.
Hold it!
It doesn't make sense if you think about it. Prints could be easily wiped off. You don't have a point. You do have a point there. I'd venture to say he did not wipe off the prints because he could not. What do you mean? It looks like he wants you to figure it out. Well, don't just stand there, show him who's boss. I'm totally lost, so why don't you just tell me the answer already? I don't think he saw that plea for help. You feeling alright, kid? Running a fever, perhaps? I wish trials came with a reset button. Well, specifics may yet come to light. Please proceed, Detective Fulbright. couldn't wipe him off because he was hit over the head?
Hold it!
Is that what he's going at for? Come to think of it, a coffee cup was found on the floor. Was the sedative in his coffee? Bingo! We found traces of a sleeping agent all over the inside of the cup. And that is why he was out cold. This is until he leapt to his feet upon being impaled by the mayor. What an awful way to wake up. A rather stimulating eye-opener, if you ask me. I too would have risen to the attack, for to die in battle is the samurai way. Paradise awaits fallen heroes, but that hole in his stomach would make it into a challenge. It's very dark humor. Prosecutor Blackwell, please, those morbid jokes of yours have no place in this court. Says the jester in Detective Skies. Moving right along.
Hold it!
So the alderman was drugged because he was really strong. Did you see those rock-hard muscles of his? I'm surprised the spear even managed to pierce that armor-like musculature. I admit I'm completely jealous of that righteous body of his. Ha 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 ha! Well, he did look pretty buff, even in that suit he had on. Quite a difference when compared with a yellow belly like you. Yellow belly? Who even says that anymore? Yeah, and the color's all wrong, too. Oh, I know. How about a squishy red tomato? I move to strike both of your comments from the record. Mr. Justice's character is not the issue here. Now, let's get back to what happened after the far more muscular alderman was impaled. Yes, well, your average person would likely have died on the spot.
Hold it!
Could he really have attacked his attacker after being impaled with that huge spear? Absolutely! After all, he was once a pro wrestler. The injustice of being drugged, the injustice of being drugged, then speared, was answered with a righteous counterattack. But doesn't being a former pro wrestler make him superhuman? Absolutely! After all, he was one of the good guys, like a superhero, on the side of justice. Even though he was retired, he could still don his superhero guise in times of need.
Objection!
You need to lay off the comic books, Detective. We're talking about real life here. Setting aside the half-wit's flight of fancy, the fact is this. The court ordered post-mortem concluded the victim moved after his skewering. So he found the strength somehow to attack his attacker, huh? It confirmed he moved after his skewering. Detective Fulbright's testimony sounds airtight. No wonder he's so confident. No, he only thinks it's airtight. It's up to us to poke some holes in it. The part about the alderman fighting back sounds like a big hole waiting to be poked. Is this where I say that no prints were on the statue?
Objection!
Go with my gut. I was hesitant, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going with my gut. That's what I've learned from playing these games. Did the alderman really strike the mayor? What? Are you questioning my sense of justice? As justice has nothing to do with it. Your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. You claim the alderman struck back after the mayor put the spear through him. But the statue he supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory. It would appear that the defense has a counter-argument. Very well, let's hear what the defense thinks is odd about the detective statue theory. There are no fingerprints on this supposedly crucial piece of evidence. And if you look at the crime scene photo, you'll notice that the alderman isn't wearing gloves. Yes, I believe it's quite gloveless indeed. If he touched the statue with his bare hands, he should have left some fingerprints. Detective Fulbright, you did take that into account during your investigation, didn't you? Ah, this can't be happening! Did I arrest the wrong man? He took a 180. You did it, Apollo! You knocked Detective Fulbright off his high horse. Well, it's just 1 point in our favor. Who do you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't the alderman? Well, if it wasn't the alderman, it was the real killer, of course. I mean, someone else must have clubbed the mayor. You mean there was a third party there in the Fox Chamber? Exactly. This could be the big break we've been looking for. There does seem to be a hole in the prosecution's argument. Prosecutor Blackwell, would you care to respond to the defense's assertion? He could care less, man. The least you could do is look at me while being dismissive. Your mind is as dull as an unknown blade, Justice Dono. Justice Dono? He's been watching too many samurai flicks. It'll take far more than that to cut down Simon Blackwell. A love such as you has no hope against my superior swordsmanship. This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackwell. There's a perfectly good explanation to the lack of prints on the statue. You might recall that blood-stained cloth found at the scene of the crime. It just so happens that the blood was the mayor's. So, what are you getting at? Tone your mind, boy. Why was there blood on that cloth? Solve that riddle, and you shall see that the hole you thought you found is but an illusion. Now, let's see, how was that cloth used? To wrap the statue. Maybe the alderman wrapped the statue in the cloth? In short, he wasn't touching the statue directly when he used it to strike back the mayor. Ah! Precisely. Bully for you, boy. Aw, it was nothing. Apollo, don't let him start manipulating you, too. You just closed the hole for the prosecution. I did? I did. Right. Not a statue wrapped in cloth. It would leave no fingerprints as plain as day. But this also proves there are no holes in our theory of the alderman striking back. Oops. Ah! Ooh, we've got 2 pages of notes now. Now, do you see how dull your mind is? Alright, you want to do some sword play? Blackwell, we'll do some sword play. Yes, here we go. Wait, hold on. It's apparently wrapped in a large cloth on which the defendant's blood was also found. No fingerprints could be lifted from the cloth. This is cloth. I'll make sure to sharpen it next time. A particularly frightening inmate once told me that he always tenderly held his blades before he went to work, like the samurai of yore. A samurai sounds more like a homicidal maniac to me. Actually, he was working in the prison kitchen at the time. Wait, so the inmate was murdering samurai prison chef? Was a murdering samurai prison chef? Interesting, the victim and his killer were the only ones there after all. I was kind of attached to that hole. Now what? Apollo, I just thought of something. If they didn't find anyone's fingerprints on the statue, who's to say someone other than the alderman didn't hit the mayor with it? Why didn't I think of that? Anybody could have not left prints on it. Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with the statue? Please illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady. There's only one answer. The real killer. Prove the existence of this real killer. What evidence have you? Oh, I'll give you evidence, alright. Athena, are you sure about this? A little bit of a typo there. To borrow your words, Apollo, I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers and tracks, allegedly from a yokai, were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor with that statue. Is the defense actually suggesting some sort of monster killed that alderman? That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Objection!
That is not what I'm suggesting. No, Athena, you just lost what little credibility we had left. Ah! Sorry. Guess I got carried away. Mr. Justice, we have no time to deal with objections between members of the defense. Sorry, Your Honor. It's just... this kid's still, well, a kid. Ouch. You meanie. I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright. So, is this court to believe the feathers and tracks are from a yokai, as you put it? No, Your Honor. I believe they are a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe some sort of monster murdered the alderman. Interesting. And why do you suppose the killer would do that? Why indeed? Mr. Justice, you seem as new to this as your partners. Ouch. This I'm not reporting to Mr. Wright. Hoy, Fulbright. Explain to his baldness what these brats are missing. You know, the who and why behind those feathers and tracks. What? You mean you can explain all that? Ha ha ha! Our investigative powers would... wow. Our investigative prowess is without equal. I'm starting to think I chose the wrong profession. Very well, let's hear about these so-called yokai feathers and tracks. Feathers and tracks, feathers and tracks. This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. The Mayor Tenma panicked when the amazing Ninetales helped embolden the protesters. So he stoked the village's fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like the yokai was the killer. Those feathers and tracks stoked the villagers' fears? Absolutely! He knew exactly how to prey upon their superstitious minds. Those feathers only gave weight to the idea that the alderman was slain by a demon. The accursed demon Tenmatera, that is. Tenma who? Tenmatera, the legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chamber. From a young age, the villagers are taught to fear the great black-feathered demon, and thus were they blinded to other, more plausible explanations.
Hold it!
Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else who could be considered a suspect? Mr. Justice, please explain yourself. On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at Kyubi Manor. And as part of this event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Tenmataro. Obviously, this person is a much more likely suspect than a legendary demon.
Objection!
Oh, we heard his voice. Dullard, you're playing right into the killer's mind games. What? Listen here. The feathers and tracks were merely red herrings. The villagers believe the murder to be work of the real Tenmataro. However, the police believe that the person in the Tenmataro suit is the killer. The defendant sought to sow this confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by the alderman, and thus our mentally deficient mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
Do you honestly believe Mayor Tenma would do something so stupid?
Objection!
Evidence speaks for itself. Fulbright? Right. It was the mayor's last-ditch effort to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The Amazing Ninetales was fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers and the hometown favorites. That's why the mayor panicked and set on the path of injustice. Do the people of Ninetales Vale really believe a yokai is behind the crime? Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I must say, a crime that preys upon innocent, impressionable minds. Just so. A particularly silver-tongued inmate once had the following words for me. The innocence of heart are the easiest prey. You don't say. Was this inmate a con artist? No. He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap. Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey? Yes, well. Now, the defense may proceed with their cross-examination. Feathers and tracks, feathers and tracks.
Hold it!
Still pressing everything. Detective Fulbright, is the anti-merger movement really that strong? Oh, absolutely! They parade around in yokai costumes shouting, "Down with Mayor Tenma!" And just the other day, they stormed Tenma City Hall, claiming it was a den of vipers. But when the accused showed his face, the angry mob scattered like leaves upon an autumn wind. For you see, a lowly yokai are no match for Tenmataro, the dark lord of their kind. Oh wait, are the villagers scared of Mayor Tenma or Tenmataro? I'm confused. I think he means Mayor Tenma. It's easy to get the wrong impression about this guy. Detective Fulbright, why do you suppose the defendant would commit such an act?
Hold it!
The Amazing Ninetales. No one knows his true identity, right? That's right! And he was a lone wolf, or in other words, he didn't belong to a wrestling federation. He appeared like a shooting star, defeating one Tenma Town wrestler after another. And before anyone knew it, he was champion. Like the samurai of yore, surrounded thick with enemies, he cut them down one by one. Which was a complete and utter loss of face for Tenma Town pro wrestling. He was amazing! If ever there was a real superhero, it would be him. I dream of becoming a true champion of justice like him someday. I bet Detective Fulbright would be a great pro wrestler. He could even team up with Prosecutor Blackwell. A police detective and a prisoner in chains. You know, I think people would actually pay to see that. I know I would. Ha ha ha! So you do understand the greatness that is the Amazing Ninetales! Cool, I'm so glad we had that little conversation.
Hold it!
Did the murder and yokai evidence really... Wait. Stoke the villagers... Did the murder and yokai evidence really stoke the villagers' fears? That is worded weirdly. Absolutely! It had an immediate effect. The presumed return of the dreaded Tenma Taro has them shaking in their boots. Oh my, it's really that bad. Unsuperstitious lot, it's as if Jack the Ripper had been set loose in their village. The mere thought of that demon lurking about is enough to spark a mass exodus. I see. It's a very persuasive argument. The mere thought of his honor buying into Simon the Psycho Slasher's words makes me want to spark my own exodus out of the courtroom right about now. Right about now. So you see, there can be only one reason why anyone would plant those feathers and tracks.
Hold it!
But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, why top it off with a murder? What do you mean? You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stoke the villagers' fears. If so, then why not stop there? Why murder Alderman Huey? Excellent point. It is, isn't it? So your honor agrees there was no reason for the murder, correct?
Objection!
Perhaps the killing was spur of the moment. You're saying it wasn't premeditated? From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed to any of your babble. However, the fact is, the mayor made a startling discovery. A startling discovery? Oh, I like the sound of that. Alderman Huey's secret identity. Apollo. I think Prosecutor Blackwell has figured out the Alderman's secret identity. But even if he has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder? This is not good. This patch of fur was discovered at the crime scene. It's from the mask worn by the Amazing Ninetales. Therefore, we can conclude that this mask was at the crime scene. Oh my, but why would it have been there? The victim was a former pro wrestler and a member of the anti-merger movement. Need I say more? Ah! Could it really be? Your boldness has had an epiphany, I see. Our victim, Rex Huey, was the Amazing Ninetales, and the mayor's discovery of such was his motive for murder. No! Look at how hunched over we are. Order, order! What a shocking development. A motive clearer than crystal clear. What do we do now, Apollo? I didn't think they'd tie the alderman's secret identity to the mayor's motive for murder. At last we've reached my real point. Why did the alderman have to forge a secret identity? Does it not pique your interest, your boldness? But it does. It is odd that he had to create this other persona, just to secretly participate in the anti-murder movement. Very astute of you, your boldness. Right! Now take a look at this. If you value your dearest's life, you will merge Ninetail's Vale with Tenma Town. Do not tell anyone about this threat. If you do, consider your something as good as dead. I couldn't read it. This blackmail letter was found in Alderman Cuby's pocket. I forgot. Didn't our client say that he was blackmailed about the merger? That that's why he wanted to merge them, because he was being blackmailed? Because he didn't even care. So now it looks like the other way around. At present, the alderman's wife is in the hospital. And that letter is clear evidence the mayor was blackmailing him by threatening her life. Wait, didn't the blackmail letter sent to Mayor Tenma go missing? Right after the alderman's murder? I think maybe the killer took the letter from the mayor after the murder and planted it on the alderman's pocket? It's possible. But we don't have any proof that that's what happened. Talk about being up the creek without a paddle. Oops. I wonder where there is. Yeah, your dearest is good as dead. Yep, I remember now. I remember. Mayor Tenma would have made a clean getaway if he had just left after planting the yokai things, but he was knocked out cold by a sudden decision to kill the amazing Ninetails. So it was the amazing Ninetails counterattack that brought the entire crime to light. Oh, wait a sec. Fulbright's claiming that the mayor killed the alderman after planting the yokai evidence. And that the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that? That's impossible. Because all of the feathers and tracks were in blood. Detective Fulbright, please add your previous statement to your testimony. Objection, Your Honor. Those tracks are bloody.
Objection!
Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair. What's this? You dare question my justice again? Yes, and I'm going to prove it to you. Take a look at this photo. This is the crime scene photo. And just what does this prove? It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted. But I already told you they were planted before the murder. The defendant planted the yokai evidence and was knocked out while killing the victim. But that would be impossible. If you look right here, it's clear where the feathers and tracks were left at the scene. When the feathers and tracks were left at the scene. Am I looking at the bloodiness? I'm making sure that it's not trying to do something else, like... And the feathers are on top of the blood. That could be also... Aren't you just pointing to the yokai feathers and tracks, Mr. Justice? Yes. See how the feathers are on top of the blood and the tracks were made in blood? In other words, the yokai evidence could have only resulted after the murder. Okay, so I could have done either of those things. So I could have gone with my gut instinct again. Sorry, my recording is going weird again. Okay, let's keep going. Then the mayor must have planted the evidence after killing the alderman. But you said it yourself. The mayor had been knocked unconscious thereafter. There would have been no time for him to plant any evidence at all. Therefore, there must have been someone else beside the mayor and the alderman at the crime scene. Ah! There must be some mistake! Order! Order! Where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you? Ha 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 ha! Evidence? Oh, I have evidence. In fact, I have an eyewitness testimony for you. You do? But how? Oh. Was my vaunted sense of justice really just half-baked? He's taking this really hard. He's so over the top, my goodness. Mr. Justice, what is this testimony regarding a third party that you claim to have? I have it right here, Your Honor. It's a sworn testimony of Mr. Tenma's daughter. The witness, Jinxie Tenma, saw a yokai in the hallway after stumbling upon the scene. It was the demon Tenma Taro. He's the source of those feathers and tracks. Are we blaming the yokai again? Are we really doing this? Can you rephrase that for me, please, Apollo, before people think that you're an idiot? Will somebody please say something? And the defense will explain to the court exactly what he means. Yes, please. You dare mock this court and justice itself? You're unfit to bear your name, boy! Your boldness, it appears our defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion. Hold it! Apollo, think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court. What do you think I'm trying to do? Before you decide whether I should step down, please, hear me out. Very well, Mr. Justice, I'm all ears, but you had better explain yourself well. What was this yokai you were talking about? It's all in the statement here. Jinxie Tenma asserts that she saw Tenma Taro. After she discovered the crime scene and called the police, she came around a corner in the hall. It was around here that she saw Tenma Taro fleeing toward the foyer. The defense asserts that whoever was impersonating the monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise. What? How incredibly unjust! Why haven't I heard about this before? The defense just proved there was someone else. So the mayor isn't the killer? Was it all set up? The prosecutor is Victor Melon after all. Apollo, the momentum has shifted in our favor. Good, now let's keep it that way.
Objection!
Wow, they had moving letters for that one. Little do you realize that though you are in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken. My sword? I don't know, I had one to break. Are you implying there's a problem with my claim? Is he gonna say something about... Okay, I thought he was gonna be like, oh, doubt the daughter because she would be protecting her father or whatever. Consider this. If that yokai impersonator had indeed fled toward the foyer, that fool and that fop would have seen him. Yep, that's where the problem comes, because they still claim they haven't seen anything. The fool and fop? Oh, you mean Filch and LaBelle. Now that you mention it. Both Phineas Filch and Florence LaBelle were in the foyer at the time. But they haven't stated that they saw a yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination? Oh, he's not even saying that she's trying to protect her dad. Why didn't those two see the Tenma Taro impersonator pass by? Why don't we ask them ourselves? I was just about to say that myself. No, really, I was. The defense would like to call Mr. Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor, to the stand. I just know he must have seen something. I suppose we can't ignore the fact that the little girl believes she saw a monster. I trust you have no objections to Mr. Justice's request, Prosecutor Blackwell. I understand that Mr. Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby. I knew that Tanuki was a rare find. But when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up a witness. Do with him as you will. Did he just say captured? No, wait. I don't want to know. Very well, then. Bailiff, please go wake up Mr. Filch and escort him to the witness stand. Okay, we're sticking around for a little bit. Will the witness state his name and occupation, please? What did I have as his voice? I totally forget what I had as his voice. I am sorry, guys. I'm going to change it, probably. The name's Filch. Phineas Filch, caretaker of Kyubi Manor. Oh, and this is for you, your lordship. Just a little something I thought you might like. Oh, what a fabulous pair of shoes. And your honor, would you just find Filch? Are those Fulbright shoes again? It's those shoes again. Don't they belong to Detective Fulbright? Don't tell me Filch stole them again. They're all yours, your honorship, sir. Well, but they seem awfully expensive. Yep, too expensive for me, but I reckon they'll be the perfect for someone like your honorship. It's a kind gesture, but legal ethics dictate I cannot accept such gifts. Aw, ethics. Just take them if you want them. Polished them up real nice for you, too. Aw, he looks so sad. I'm sorry about the shoes, Mr. Filch, but I will accept your testimony. The court will like to hear whether you saw Tenmataro in the foyer after the murder. Wow. So sketchy. Oh my goodness, this guy. At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. Kyubi asked. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise, could get to our guest. I was in my office keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m. But I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary, no siree! Yeah, you were not keeping a good watch. Because you were watching the television. I think that's my statement. And that's my evidence. The yokai you keep jabbering on about was but a phantom of the little girl's dreams. So you're telling this court you never saw anyone dressed up like Tenmataro? Yep, was guarding the whole time. That's truth, the holy truth, nutter butter truth. And Tenmataro, bah, you don't really believe in all those yokai mumbo jumbo, do ya? I certainly don't. Oh, are we sensing it in court as well? My bracelet. It's... Oh, it's cool whenever he, like, actually interacts with it. Something the matter, Apollo? My bracelet keeps squeezing my arm. Really? So you think Mr. Filch has been lying to us? I wouldn't rule it out. Now, if I could just zero in on a tell, some sort of nervous habit, like him tugging at his scarf. Ah! What in the? What's a hawk doing in here? I totally forgot about the hawk. Oh my goodness, how could I forget? Allow me to introduce my trusty cohort, Taka. He seems to have taken quite a liking to the courthouse and made it his new home, in fact. He doesn't live with you, you know, in jail. Who's ever heard of a courthouse bird? Taka simply loathes trickery and fraud. And that queer power of yours seems to have offended my dear bosom buzzard. This isn't some sort of trick or... Ah! I won't be able to squat like this. Okay, so I guess it is just all in the field. What the heck's going on around here? Run for the hills! No pets or other animals allowed in the courtroom. Oop. As somebody else. Oh, he's merely having a bit of sport. He won't harm you, save what truly famished. In that case, Prosecutor Rockwell, you will ensure your feathered friend is properly fed. Looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way. We'll be fine, I think. If there was someone dressed as Tenmataro there, Filch should have seen him. We'll just have to put our faith in Jinxie's statement for now. Mr. Justice, please proceed with your cross-examination. Oh, maybe that's his tell. Because this is where the lie is. Nope, that's not it. Where is it? There it is.
Objection!
Don't lie to the court like that, Mr. Filch. Hey, it ain't right to bushwhack a fellow like that. Unfortunately for you, I have evidence that proves you're lying. If you look at the TV listing here, you'll see that at the time of the crime, there was a pro wrestling match scheduled. Something you'd never miss. Yeah! I didn't watch that one. No siree. I was doing my job, just like I was supposed to. This guy doesn't know when to give up. Mr. Filch, someone even circled the match. It was you, right? Yipes! Not only that, you even told me you watched it. You said, and I quote, "It was a complete disaster." Yeah! So, do you admit to slacking off? You can trick me with your Rudy Poo lawyer talk. I'm one of them professional types, too. I can do double duty watching TV in the foyer at the same time. The only thing Filch can claim to be a professional of is a professional thief. Mr. Justice, you would have this court believe the witness was slacking off. That's correct. He claims to have been watching TV and the foyer at the same time, but that's nothing but a bold-faced lie. Oh, bold-faced lie. Is that actually how the phrase goes? I always thought it was a bold-faced lie. Because the TV's over here, and the windows are over there. That's what I thought. Cool. He'd have to have the back to the windows. Well, you say, but I'm not the one who's lying, and perhaps you meant the witness, Mr. Justice. And in that case, let's see what evidence you can offer. Claim Mr. Filch is lying while watching TV in the foyer at the same time, Now prove it.
Take that!
Please take a look at the direction that the TV is facing in this diagram. Now, unless Mr. Filch has eyes where his right ear should be, I think it'll be impossible to watch the foyer entrance and the TV at the same time. Oh, why, yes, someone watching TV there couldn't possibly see the entrance. Exactly. And that means, Mr. Filch, you were slacking off and were not watching the foyer as you claim. Yipes! The bag's out of the cat! I mean the other way around. Oh, he's got a little box to stand on. Order, order, order! But Mr. Justice, is Mr. Filch's less than stellar work ethic relevant to this case? It's very relevant, because while he was slacking off watching TV, there really could have been a Ten Matero impersonator in the foyer.
Objection!
What now? Granted, this Tanuki was lax in his duties, but he still had the foyer entrance covered. What are you talking about? This. I'm not a mind reader. Ack! Auditory sense. His eyes may have been slacking off, but his ears were still hard at work, right, Tanuki? They were. I mean, yes. Yes, they were. But you already admitted to slacking off. Now you say you weren't. My eyes might be lazy, but my ears ain't. I would have heard anyone in the foyer. You see the foyer floor and stairway get all creaky squeaky when somebody walks on them. Creak, creak, creak. Loud enough to wake the dead, I reckon. So, you're saying you didn't hear anybody walk by? Yep! My ears are working full time, so who's the liar now, you no-good shyster? Lying thief calling me a shyster. This has to be the low point of my fledgling career. Gotta hand it to you, Mr. Blackwell, sir. You really are something else. I mean, you don't miss a thing. And them bags under your eyes, they're darker than mine. If I warn you, Mr. Filch, Taka is particularly fond of Tanuki. Should you lie in this court, you may suddenly find yourself on the menu. Well, at least we know where he gets the random feather that he just has in his mouth all the time. Yipes! Please don't eat me, Mr. Taka, sir! The witness will henceforth testify truthfully under penalty of painful bird attacks. And with that in mind, the court requests that the witness revise his testimony accordingly. Okay, so now the problem is that he didn't see Jinxie. Or hear Jinxie. It's true, I was watching a pro wrestling match on the office TV. My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime. The floor there is all creaky and squeaky like, no way I would have missed someone walking by. There's his tell. So you see, there were no Tenmataro in the foyer. Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. Understand? A simple, rational explanation is best. Forget yokai, demons, and such. We must use common sense. For lacking that, the entire world would be upside down. Says the convict prosecutor, who is totally a sign of the end times of the legal world. And besides, if there were any yokai roaming about, I'd nab them and sell them to the zoo. I wonder whether Jinxie was just seeing things. Seems to be the general consensus, but I'm sticking to my guns. But if we can't prove she saw Tenmataro, the mayor's sure to be convicted. And we'd better hope my guns fire bullets, not BBs. They're talking about Jinxie so openly. I'm starting to think that that's not the problem here. Defense may cross-examine their witness. Like, hey, if you didn't see anyone or hear anyone, you didn't see or hear Jinxie come in either.
Hold it!
So you have pretty good ears, Mr. Filch?
As good as they come, I'd say. Ain't nothing to hear a creaky floor. Plus, the Tenmataro makes a sound where he goes by. It's like a jingle jangle.
Jingle jangle? How's he do that?
It's a staff of his. That's what jingle jangles.
What's he talking about, Apollo? Beats me, but I guess Tenmataro has a staff that makes noise. Come to think of it, didn't Jinxie mention something like that, too? She said she saw Tenmataro holding a staff-like object that made a jangly sound. Guess it's the source of the noise, then. Well, Mr. Justice, Mr. Filch says Tenmataro's jingle jangles. Would you consider that vital information? Yes. Because it's weird that he has the staff. Extremely vital. I requested to be added to his testimony. Tenmataro was to pass by. His staff would code jingle jangle. The fact that he knows that there's a staff is suspicious, considering that this does not show him the staff. Tenmataro's staff would make a jingling sound, you say? Or, Tenmataro's staff would make a jangly sound, you say? Well, I'm going to say that your story doesn't add up. Is there something the defense would like to share with the court? Mr. Filch, you say that you didn't see Tenmataro on the day of the incident. Why then, why did you assume just now that Tenmataro would be holding a staff? Huh? You see, the Tenmataro Jinxie saw held a staff in his hands, and she described the sound just like you did, as a kind of jangly sound. Yeah, so he was holding the staff. What's your point?
Objection!
The point is that Tenmataro doesn't use a staff, not normally. What are you talking about? You see, this is the only known document depicting Tenmataro. Is there a staff in this picture, Mr. Filch? Yeah, you're right, there's no staff, not even a cane or a walking stick. Ah! So the question is, why does the witness think Tenmataro uses a staff? I believe the answer will overturn the prosecution's case on the most basic level. Well now, this is getting interesting. Alright, Mr. Justice, it's time to show the court where you're going with this. Please tell the court why Mr. Filch believes Tenmataro carries a staff. Because he saw him! Filch is a scatterbrain. Mr. Filch actually saw Tenmataro right after the crime occurred. That's the only way he could possibly know about the staff.
Busted again!
You duplicitous little... Yes, how'd that feel, Blackquill? Not so fun when you're on the receiving end of the blade, is it? Yeah, he does not look happy. He is clearly upset at the lies of the witness, so that gives something. He's not like keeping his cool and being all like, oh, well, we can figure things out. He's like, oh my gosh, you lied to me. I like the little looks into the prosecution's characters and motives based off of just little things that happen in the court and the things that they say and the things that they do and what flabbergasts them and flusters them. Admit it, Mr. Filch. You did see Ten Matero that day, didn't you? Well?
I'm begging ya, please don't make me say it.
But clearly you did see Ten Matero. Oh, he's superstitious. Just like whenever the guy was like, oh, you can't tell people that you saw him or you are in danger of him. Like he steals your soul or something. I don't know. I forget what it is. I might be mixing my media. Stop stalling and testify to that fact.
No can do, no way, no how. You ain't got no idea how terrifying he can be.
He? Mr. Filch still won't admit seeing Ten Matero, even though everyone already knows he did. The question now is why. Mr. Filch is scared to death. Is that why he can't admit the truth? Come to think of it. They say you must not gaze upon Ten Matero, but in the event that you do look, and then tell anyone what you saw, Ten Matero will claim your soul. Yep. There it is. Jinxie wouldn't admit to seeing Ten Matero after hearing about the village superstitions. She said that if she told anyone she had seen Ten Matero, he'd claim her soul. Wait, you think Filch believes that too?
So Mr. Big Time City Slicker lawyer has heard about him? Them old village superstitions?
Will the defense please explain what the witness is talking about? The people of Ninetails Vale believe some pretty strange things, and their superstitions may be the reason our witness here can't admit the truth. The truth that he really did see Ten Matero.
So darn straight, that's why. It's all right here.
Oh, a book. Do not gaze upon Ten Matero. Do not tell others if you see him. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul. There is, however, one way to save it. Your immediate departure from the village. Freeing him will bring ruin upon the village. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul?
See, that's why folks of Ninetails Vale can't talk about seeing Ten Matero.
That clears up one mystery. The killer took advantage of the superstitions by wearing a Ten Matero costume. Yep, that makes sense. Because then nobody who sees him would admit it. Departure from the village. Interesting. They knew that way no one could talk about him, so it was as if he never existed. The defense holds that this Ten Matero impersonator is the true killer.
What?
Objection!
Oh, I see you've regained your coal there, Simon. Superstitious, you say? What kind of fool would actually believe such rubbish? And would that using some silly fairy tale so that easily expose the culprit? What is that sentence? And would that using some silly fairy tale so easily... Oh! And would that using some silly fairy tale so easily expose the culprit? You'll need to come up with a more rational and common sense explanation than that.
Objection!
And yet here we stand. Your common sense seems awfully narrow-minded to me, Professor Blackwell.
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackwell. Why did I call him Professor? Try living in my world of narrow cells, mortal danger, and dark sleepless nights. There's no lack of superstitions in the clink, but few are those who truly believe in them.
Objection!
Well, the village superstitions are real enough to the people of Ninetails Vale. A life or death superstition might even make you a believer. Order, I say! You fool of a Tanuki. 2 times now your lies have cost me.
Sorry, I promise not to do it again!
Oh, that smirk. Talk on my fine feathered friend. Have at him.
Yipes! He's gonna eat me alive! Head for the hills!
He took off.
Bailiff, what are you waiting for after him and with your fastest men?
That's certainly not something you see every day.
Well, it would seem a new and important fact has come to light. A third party disguised as the yokai Tenmataro was at the scene. And now we have 2 witnesses who can attest to that fact. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell?
Oh.
What? Huh? Ah!
His shackles.
I'm too young to die!
Justice Dono, long has it been since I've been forced to draw my blade. You would best say your prayers.
Eek!
Surely he does not have a sword.
Detective, do something!
Haha! Have no fear. Fulbright is here. When the going gets tough, the champion of justice gets going.
Objection!
Then get going already before he kills us!
Oh, but I stand in awe of Simon Blackwell, for it is his sense of justice that set him free.
Objection, objection! I object to Detective Fulbright's definition of justice!
Silence.
I'm not in the habit of cutting down unarmed cowards.
Well, in that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, can I ask you to, you know...
I think the judge forgot he's in charge here. So Justice Dono's assertion is this. Tenmataro is the real killer, not Mayor Tenma. According to him, there was a yokai at the scene of the crime.
Right, and that yokai, or rather whoever was impersonating him, killed Artemin Kyubi.
Silence.
Care to explain why Jinxie, being the first to discover the murder, did not see your alleged killer yokai there in the Fox Chamber?
What? He's right, she said nothing about Tenmataro being in the Fox Chamber.
Let me enlighten you. That little scamp heard a dying scream right before she opened the chamber door.
And your point is?
Upon opening the door, she found the freshly skewered murder victim, the alderman, and the homicidal maniac who had killed him, the mayor.
No, there must have been someone dressed up as like Ah!
Then, why does the little scamp claim not to have seen a yokai in the Fox Chamber?
Considering her father is accused of murder, surely she would have mentioned any third party that might have been in the room. I don't understand. Why didn't she see Tenmataro inside the Fox Chamber?
There's but one way to find out. Ask Jinxie Tenma whether she saw your killer yokai at the scene of the crime. The final battle draws nigh. Only one of us will leave here alive. Long has my blade thirsted for blood. At long last, it shall be sated.
Oh, wait, this is still a trial, right?
Show me what you're truly capable of, Justice Dono.
Very well, then. Both parties, no doubt, need some time to regroup. So the court will take a 10-minute recess in order to...
reshackle the prosecution.
3 minutes. I'm sorry, but... a 3-minute recess?
Just so. Plenty of time for your destination of intent is the loo.
The loo? You mean the bathroom?
Sheesh. At least include enough time to wash her hands. see that you take no more than 3 minutes. All late comers will be punished.
Yes, sir. I hereby declare a 3-minute recess before the battle begins.
I declare Prosecutor Blackwell as the winner of this round. Simon says. It doesn't bode well for us if the prosecutor is running the show, does it? He busted out of his shackles.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Guess they don't make shackles like they used to. Better be careful, Apollo. You've really brought out the samurai in him. Especially after you proved there was a Tenmataro impersonator at the manor. What's with that guy and the whole samurai act anyway? Such fine swordsmanship. That is no mere act. Mr. Justice, it's high time I challenge this jailhouse prosecutor to a duel.
No, wait, let's save the dueling until after we prove your innocence.
I suppose we could wait until later.
Does anyone remember we're conducting a trial here?
Athena, I'm going to go wash up. Remember what Blackwell said, Apollo. Don't be late. Oh, we're still going. I thought that we were going to have it to be continued. Oh, no, wait. Is he late? Is it up to Athena now?
No, then I believe our next witness is Miss Jinxie Tenma, made at QB Manor. I believe we can proceed now if the witness is ready, that is.
Oh, man. Look at her reflection. That's fun. Leader of the 100 demons. It really does exist. Wow. That's one well-polished tray.
The witness will show her face while in court. Her testimony will be inadmissible. What is it, my child?
Be calm, Narayan. Leader of the 100 demons.
Oh, you think I'm a yokai? Well, I was once known as judicial monster of sorts. The beast of the bar, the demon of the due process, if you will.
My charm is no effect.
The demon of due process? Not sure I can see that one.
I thought she was talking about Blackwell. Now, you little scamp. Yes. I trust you know why you are here. Bags. Bags. Oh, the Trixie Tanuki. Trixie Tanuki. Try the noodle stand and go enjoy a big bad bowl of Tanuki tail noodles while you're at it. Everyone's a comedian. No, I'm in your bags. One's under your eyes. I almost have trouble sleeping. Here, this charm will keep a Zurikira away. A Zukira? The yokai that washes Suzuki beans? The only thing needing washing will be your father's neck before I take his head clean off. Wow. Zukira often keeps people up at night with the noise he makes washing beans. But if you stick this charm on your forehead, you won't hear him anymore. It says so. Well, thank you. Looks like Prosecutor Blackwell's got more than he bargained for. They're bad enough alone, but together these two are just plain creepy.
Your testimony, if you please, Miss Tenma. Specifically, whether or not you saw Tenmataro when you discovered the crime scene.
I wonder what the translation has. Like, do they have similar names? Does Tenmataro and Mayor Tenma have similar names in the Japanese? Did I see Tenmataro in the Fox Chamber? Well, when I opened the door, I saw. Yes, now I remember. Yokai. Right there in that room. So there was a yokai at the scene of the crime? And lots of them.
Wait, more than one yokai? Did Tenmataro happen to be among them?
I don't know. I just don't know. All I know is the room was swimming with yokai. Kasha, Yurikabe, Satoshi. They're all there.
Oh, this isn't an expected turn of events. Oh, we've gone from no yokai to a flood of them. This is ludicrous. You would have this court listen to this delusional little scamp's testimony. You're called it! Athena has something to say. Your Honor! I believe her memory is simply clouded by fear. But a quick therapy session should ease her mind. With the court's permission, of course. Ooh, what a fabulous idea. Please proceed, Miss Sykes. You sure you know what you're doing, Athena? She's obviously not herself. The trauma of discovering that crime scene and fear of testifying have her dazed and confused. A regular ball of confusion. But my analytical psychology-based approach should be able to help. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? Shall we let Miss Sykes proceed? It makes no difference to me. As you will, but I doubt we shall get any viable testimony. She'd be better served by bearing witness to the sword skills I forged in a distant land. Not sure you. Anxiety overload. Oh yeah, she's freaking out. Sorry, I just wanted to see something real quick. Found something! Looks like an out of control emotion. Athena, what exactly are we looking at here? Oh, this is one of the widget's functions. It's one of widget's functions. Right here you can see images and emotions extracted from the witness's voice. Whoa, you mean that little thing can do all this? Pretty cool, huh? And here I thought it was just some kind of kid's toy. Unfortunately, all I'm getting is an overflow error right now. See how sad is brightly lit there at the bottom left? She's under an uncontrollable amount of distress, which is masking her other emotions. It seems the sheer terror she experienced has made her a confused mess. So all those yokai she thinks she saw are a product of rampant those yokai she thinks she saw are a product of rampant emotions? Yes, that's right. Her fear has instilled in her hallucinations and false memories. She's seeing normal everyday objects as monsters in her mind. It's a form of schizophrenic hallucination brought on by emotional trauma. And the trauma in Jinxie's case is fear. So she was, and still is, seeing ordinary objects as yokai. We'll have to find the root cause of her extreme fear before I can treat it. Now let's see. Apollo, can you point out the yokai on the Wheel of Fire? She seems particularly terrified of that one. Start by tapping probe. Next point to what's causing Jinxie's out of control emotion. Try and get the heart matter. Okay, so this is another part of the gimmick. Okay, let's give this a try. Alright.
Got it!
Jinxie, what's the name for that yokai on the Wheel of Fire? That's Akasha, yokai that steals the bodies of the recently deceased. I bet it came to steal the Aldermans. It's almost creepy how well that fits the actual situation. Exactly! It's a form of hallucination where the patient can't see things for what they are. There must be something at the scene of the crime that she's mistaking for Akasha. Apollo, you need to point out what you thought was a yokai on the Wheel of Fire. It's a chandelier. I think I know the answer now. Jinxie, that wasn't Akasha you saw. Could you have possibly mistaken this for Akasha? Oh, and there's like a fox on the Ring of Fire. Interesting.
Take that!
The light fixture? This one right here, it has a flame design that's up there on the ceiling. There was never a yokai on a Wheel of Fire. The Akasha you saw was just a light fixture. Oh. I was just looking at it. That's one memory back to normal. Nice job. Now that you've got the hang of it, it should be a cinch to point out the rest. Jinxie, what about the white wall-like monster?
That's Narakabi. It's a wall monster that blocks your way, leads you astray.
That's no yokai, Jinxie. It's a folding screen. And this raccoon dog isn't a tanuki monster. It's just a statue of one. And look, these are just coffee cups. And this right here, it's nothing more than a fox statue.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Okay. That's effective. You did it, Apollo! Her extreme fear is under control now.
So it's just my eyes playing tricks on me. They weren't any yokai after all.
Okay, so I guess when it's extreme emotion, we do the little pointing out thing, and then we go on to the main gimmick. See? A clear-cut statement. That's the power of my psychology and your intuition, Apollo. And just like we thought, there never really were any yokai in the Fox Chamber. Right. There never really were any yokai there. So the defense is asserting the exact opposite of their original assertion. Wait, Jinxie? What about Tenmataro?
There wasn't anyone there dressed up as Tenmataro or any other yokai either. I remember it clearly now.
You gotta be joking! Order in the court. I think we just dug our own grave. Allow me to push you in this. Push you on in. It's the least I could do. It's a good line. No! Apollo! Can I interrupt your freak out for just a minute? I'm still picking up a noise. It's an unexpected emotion. Does that mean Jinxie hasn't remembered everything yet? Exactly. We should be able to get something else out of her. I went through the new information we have and run an update. Kind of reminding me of Little Thief. It's like, let's put in our new information. Did I see Tenmataro in the Fox Chamber? I was so scared when I entered the room. Okay, that makes sense. My legs gave out and I fell to the floor. In the Fox Chamber, I saw the alderman's dead on a table and Papa collapsed in a chair. Okay, still making sense. Nobody else was there, and that includes Tenmataro. Wait, what am I supposed to do? Try to find the emotions that contradict her statements. So if I find a contradictory emotion, I should point it out. That's right. It's not just contradictory emotions you should look out for. You should also keep an eye out for sudden changes in emotions' intensity. Okay, I was wondering about that. Emotions might get stronger or weaker as you move from statement to statement. Important to compare how the same emotion changes throughout the testimony. Contradictory emotions and changes in intensity. Okay. So, big intensity of sadness and surprise, which makes sense. But then, all of a sudden, her shock is less.
Got it!
Is that what we're pointing out? This seems like an unnatural reaction. Really? Because I don't see it that way. This isn't unexpectedly of an adjustment. Hello? Okay, we're gonna try again. This makes complete sense. I don't know. Nobody else is still there, and that includes Tenmataro. Scared. The emotion is scared. The intensity is the same. This is the only point where it changes oddly.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought it would be after all of the updates we put in, so I didn't want to say that one. The amount of fear you felt is rather low despite your legs having given out from fright. Could something have lessened your fear? Actually, I did experience a sudden burst of courage at that moment.
You did? Where did it come from?
Let me think. Oh, it was Mama. I suddenly felt as if she was there with me.
Okay, I'll enter sudden burst of courage. Now let's see. Oh, look! Why did she feel her mother was there with her? It's got to do with the flower, right?
Paula, the noise is all gone. Jinxie seems to have remembered everything now. Okay. Or not the flower. Yeah, no, the flower. Sudden burst of courage. Now, where could that have come from? Jinxie, was there something that gave you a sudden burst of courage? Yes, there was, but, I realized I had done something naughty when I thought about it later.
Any idea what could have given Jinxie that courage? Well, there is one piece of evidence that comes to mind. I wonder if she saw something like it at the scene of the crime. Jinxie, did your sudden burst of courage have anything to do with this? Yeah, boosts Jinxie's... It even says it boosts Jinxie's courage. Jinxie, you didn't happen to see a nine-tails flower there at the scene, did you?
The demon lawyer strikes again. I can't hide anything from you. I found a small case with a picture of a nine-tailed flower on it. I liked it so much I kept it.
You what? You can't remove evidence from a crime scene? That's right, young lady. Removing evidence is a big no-no. Now, the witness will produce said evidence this instant.
Sorry.
It does seem to be some sort of case. Oh, look, something slid out. A key. It appears to be a key. Might I have a look, your witness? Ah. It's none other than the master key to QB Manor. Are you certain of this, Prosecutor Blackwell?
Why do I keep saying Professor? Yes, the paperwork. Please hold that. It matches the serial number of the key that went missing after the murder.
A master key that went missing? I don't like the sound of that.
Our little scamp here has stumbled upon an article of unimaginable consequence.
That's a little melodramatic, don't you think?
Heed these words, for I shall say them but once. The soul key to the Fox Chamber has been in this little scamp's constant possession. Ergo, she was the sole person who could use it before, during, and after the murder. Which leaves the master key as the only other key that could have opened the chamber. But this master key was found in a room that had been locked by this girl.
And your point is?
Until Jinxie Tenma opened the Fox Chamber with her key, the room had been locked tight from the outside world. And there was no one else in there save the victim and his killer. Just you figured out for yourself by now.
Did they hide in the room that's, like, closing off the demon?
Killer other than Mayor Tenma himself would be utterly inconceivable.
Could this happen? The defense's assistant will refrain from growling her frustrations. Athena, are you alright?
I know Mayor Tenma's innocent, but there's nothing we can do!
This sucks.
Sykestone, allow me to put you out of your misery. Can I decline your offer? Abandon your client and your misplaced faith in him. Let the relief of clear head and clean conscience come wrenching in. To make an inevitable guilty verdict all the easier to accept.
Great, now he's playing Simon Says with us. I was not going to fool us with his stupid mind games. Athena, don't fall for his tricks. No, I'm the one who's dazed and confused. I can't even think straight. Hey, are you alright? She fell right into his trap. Now I suggest you make a mad dash from this courtroom and into the wild blue yonder. Only by running shall your mind be cleared and your conscience cleansed. Alright, I'll be back in 10.
Objection!
Stop it! Stay with me, Athena! Don't let yourself be twisted by that samurai. Apollo? Mr. Justice, I heard the word objection, but what is you object to? Huh? Oh, right. That objection was more of a reflex than anything else. Though I was hoping something would come to me while I was trying to stop Athena. The court is waiting, Mr. Justice, though as it stands now, I'll be forced to declare your client guilty and your legal skills suspect if this is it. Do you have anything that could overturn this prosecution's case? Well, actually, I do. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Apollo, you do have something more than your Court of Steel, don't you? Not really, but we'll be fine. But I've got absolutely nothing. It's never stopped me before. I have to explain how the real killer could have escaped in that locked room. Because it's all over if I don't. It's the vent! Apollo, this calls for a new approach. Try to think outside the box. In this case, inside the box. And what a doozy that locked room is, too. Ooh, are we gonna go into the logic gimmick? Or train of thinking gimmick? Well, Mr. Justice, do you have anything that can counter the prosecution's argument? You bet I do. The real killer must have escaped from the locked room one way or another. Vague conjecture shall only earn you a taste of my blade, Justice Tono. Time to do or die, literally. The defense will now explain how it would be possible to escape the locked room. Are you sure about this, Apollo? Can you really explain what happened? I'm fine. We just need to think of the whole escaping a locked room thing over from the beginning. So, let's see. If the killer had escaped, how could they have done so? The choices are pretty limited. The room has a window, but it couldn't open very far. It doesn't open wide enough for anyone to get through, and there's a sheer cliff outside. As for the air vents, it's up too high, and there's nothing you could stand on to reach it. And needless to say, the forbidden chamber wouldn't open no matter what we did. So that's out. Yeah, that way we gotta keep the solution simple. That's why we gotta keep the solution simple. Like they say, simple is best. We need to rule out all the absolutely impossible escape routes. Then whatever's left just might lead us to how the Fox Chamber was compromised. I still think it's the air ducts. Because it connects these two. And then that's when she saw him running to the foyer from here. Wait. No. Did he go through the air vent, drop the key, and then come out? So he left out the regular door? I might be thinking too far into it. Because when she came in, she found that key and she picked it up. So it would have had to be around here that she found it. Should I do it or should I stick with my gut with the air ducts? The hallway door? Well, yes, I suppose that would be the only way out. It would appear you've already forgotten. The only available key until Jinxie Tenma came on the scene was within that locked room.
How would one exit the fox chamber and then lock it without a key? I should have seen this coming. Remember, Apollo, keep it simple. Simple, right. I could understand if the killer had exited the room with a key. But... okay, no, I am on the right track. It's telling me. The prosecution has some fine Japanese steel waiting, unless you explain yourself quickly. I'm fine! I can explain myself. The reason the fox chamber's hallway door was locked was because... the perp locked it from the outside. Yes, okay. What if the room was locked from the outside? In other words, the killer took the key through the hallway door, then locked it. Ouch! Consider this. The master key was found inside the tightly locked fox chamber. Any assertion that the key was removed from that room is a blatant contradiction of facts. Exiting the room before locking the door would require taking the key outside. But the key was found inside the room, which does seem like a contradiction. If only we could explain both. Oh, if only we could explain both. Like how the key could be inside the room and be used to lock the door from outside. Let's see if the defense can respond before Prosecutor Blackwell draws his sword. There are way too many typos in this game. Sorry. How could the master key be at the crime scene despite the room being locked tight? Threw it in from outside. What if someone threw it into the room from outside? Something like, go out in the hallway door, lock the room, toss the key back in through the window. That would explain how the master key could be inside the locked room. And where would you throw it from? There is a cliff outside the fox chamber's window. Throwing the key in from there is an impossibility. Come on, Apollo. Oh, right. Ah! I wonder if the key could have been tossed in from somewhere other than the window. Somewhere other than the window. Did the key have been tossed in through somewhere other than the window? Yes. The air duct.
Take that!
The air vent? Yes. The window may be out of the question, but the air vent's not. Oh, that's right! The fox chamber's air duct leads out into the hallway. That's right. The real killer entered the air duct from the vent outside the fox chamber. Then dropped the key in the room through the vent out inside the chamber. Aha! I flustered him again. It's preposterous. Ooh, that explains how the key got there after it was used to lock the door perfectly. Mr. Justice, I'm afraid I'm a bit confused. Don't worry. I'll explain so even Your Honor can understand. That was not the way to phrase that. First, the real killer, disguised as Ten Mataro, murdered the alderman in the fox chamber. Then, they fled the room through the hallway door and locked it. Next, they entered the air duct from the vent outside in the hallway. Finally, the killer tossed the key into the room through the air vent in the ceiling there. All that was left to do after that was go back through the duct and flee the manor. Well, Your Honor, could that be any clearer? Amazing, even I could follow that. The judge seems really pleased. That explains everything. The real killer was someone dressed up like Ten Mataro. And there was someone else other than the mayor and the alderman in that room. Hey, looks like that lawyer's been beating the jailbird prosecutor. Man, that was a total turnabout. That massive forehead of his seems much more attractive now. Order, 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 I say. Now that I've proved a possible third party, I don't see how our client could be guilty.
Silence.
You know, most people just say hold it. A valiant effort, Justice Dono, but your final thrust missed its mark. Huh? Both that little scamp and the tricksy Tanuki saw the yokai after it left the room. But then what? Did that irksome yokai simply go through the foyer and waltz right out the front door? That's exactly what happened. The killer fled from the— Ouch! But that's impossible without being spotted by the foyer's security camera. That is. escape. However, there's no sign of Tenmataro anywhere in the security footage.
What?
Save for the foyer entrance, there's no other way to flee the manor, is there?
I don't feel so good.
Hold it!
Wait, I believe there is another way to escape besides the foyer entrance. There's a large window in the foyer. It's possible to escape through there without being seen by the security camera.
It's true, and it's open in that particular picture.
Hey, you're right.
Silence!
Must I point out every crucial detail to the defense? It seems you lack not only brains, but investigative prowess to boot. That is the cliffside of the manor. The only killer escaping that way would be a dead one.
No! Wait, so the killer didn't escape out the foyer window? What the heck, right?
I suppose your next proposal is
The killer sprouted wings and flew off in the sunset. That would mean the killer really was a yokai. If only we had some sort of evidence that could point to a flying killer. Oh no, you're not really gonna make me do this, are you? Who's saying we don't? As completely far-fetched as it might be. What? You're saying you could prove the killer could fly?
Oh no.
Whoa. I thought I was the one with the cords of steel. Oh, I can't wait to hear this. Your Honor? What evidence do you have that the killer flew away?
I'm doing this, aren't I?
Take that!
Take a look at this special edition paper. Tenmataro, Real or Flight of Fancy. What does this article prove? Oh, Tenmataro, Real or Flight of Fancy. What does this article prove, Mr. Justice? The photo in that article was taken shortly after the murder. Maybe the yokai in the photo is the killer shortly after they fled out the window? Mr. Justice, you're not seriously suggesting. Oh, I'm serious. I mean, it all adds up. The killer disguised as Tenmataro flew away, you know, by some way or another.
Silence!
It is your brain that has flown the coop. That image is not but a trick of photography of some other form of artifice. But okay, then how about the Tenmataro figure Mr. Filch saw? It just vanished into thin air? No, there's a rational common sense explanation for that. That infernal yokai, our tricksy Tanuki witness, never reached the entrance. He, or should I say she, turned back before the camera's electric eye.
She? I don't like where this is going one bit.
Now, the fact that we know the yokai had come from the Fox Chamber means that it was likely either Mayor Damien Tenma or his daughter Jinxie Tenma. However, we know that Mayor Tenma was already unconscious at that time. I really don't like where this is going.
Not good at all.
Do you understand the gravity of the situation now, Justice Dono? The falsified yokai remnants. And the appearance of Tenmataro were the work of one individual.
Oh, I just noticed that he scares his bird whenever he bangs on his desk. Like the bird opened its eyes real wide.
And that individual is none other than Jinxie Tenma.
Well, he turned that around very quickly. Order! Order! The defense will stop competing for the greatest freakout ever.
The little scamp was no doubt simply trying to protect her father. And it's no wonder that her superstitious mind could conjure up this mad masquerade.
Prosecutor Blackwell's assertion makes perfect sense to me. It's far more convincing than saying the killer escaped by flying out the window.
Did you truly believe this could end any other way?
Did we fall right into his trap? What do we do now, Apollo? Our case no longer stands without a real yokai. If only we had one. Bailiff, seize her. It's time I interrogated her as the samurai of your wood. That's an unvoiced hold it. Ooh. Mayor Tenma? This farce is over. How does it feel seeing your own daughter accused of a cover-up most foul? Oh, you are a jerk. 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 Don't fall for it, Tenma. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna prove that he jumped out the window. Don't let his psychological babble get under your skin. Tenma Taro's true identity is... Now, Mr. Mayor. It would be futile at this point to claim you were the yokai. After all, you had been knocked out cold by the blow to the skull. Slipping into a yokai costume and roaming about the manor would be all but impossible. Consider this well. As it stands, your daughter will be arrested for obstruction of justice. But if you confess, the prosecution would be willing to overlook her little yokai farce. Confess? The defendant intends to confess? Wait! Apollo! Prosecutor Blackwell's up to his mind games again! Mayor Tenma, no! Don't fall for his twisted words. If you're sent away for murder, Jinxie will be left all alone. The real killer is... Mayor Tenma's going to confess unless we do something! But I can't prove how the real killer could have flown away! What in the world? Caw, 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 caw. Look upon me in despair, for ripe is the time for my return. Uh-oh, I should watch what I wish for. That is terrifying! Caw, 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 caw! Foolish mortals. I am Tenma Taro, the yokai you seek. Mayor Tenma? Silence! I am Tenma Taro, freed from the bonds binding me to the forbidden chamber. Behold the return of the Demon King. What the? Demon King? Well then, I think it's time for me to take a vacation. The witness will, he will explain himself. Are you saying you're Tenma Taro? The yokai we've been chasing this whole time? Indeed. It is I, Tenma Taro, the one whom you seek, come to reveal the truth. This child is Tenma Taro, you say? Ha, what nonsense. So, Mayor Tenma is a yokai now? Caw, caw, caw. His body is now mine. So you're saying that Mayor Tenma is being possessed by you. And that the yokai that Jinxie Tenma and Phineas Filch saw. And the one captured in the newspaper photo. Those were all you. The accursed power of these warding charms prevents me from revealing my true form. Your boldness. Can this not be interpreted as an admission of guilt? Well, a confession by yokai would be quite unprecedented. Be that as it may, the defense's case has been overturned. Huh? What? You claimed the yokai that little scamp saw was some third party, the true killer. The one who escaped from the locked fox chamber. But it was the accused all along. Arr! Ironic is not. Your yokai turned out to be real in the manner of speaking. For the alderman's killer is none other than Mayor Tenma. And the yokai at the scene, that too was Mayor Tenma. Or should I say, our dear Tenma Taro. The pieces have all fallen into place. You cannot keep going back and forth with whether the demon is real, Blackwell. Stop it. Pick your side. How so, Prosecutor Blackwell? Seems I must spell it out for all of you. Mayor Tenma killed the Alderman Fox chamber, which was locked at the time. He then removed the warding charms from the Forbidden Chamber's door. He then fell unconscious from the blow the Alderman had delivered to his head. That's when his daughter Jinxie Tenma stumbled in the scene of the crime. The little scamp fled in terror, whereupon the spirit of Tenma Taro, freed at last from the charm's warding effect, took possession of the mayor. Newly freed Tenma Taro then fled the Fox chamber. So you see, the yokai Jinxie Tenma saw was her father possessed by Tenma Taro.
Objection!
But when we arrived on the scene, the mayor was found unconscious. How is that possible if he was supposedly to have flown out the foyer window? Then what? Do you mean to say the maid of QB Manor, Jinxie Tenma, was Tenma Taro? Caw, caw, that too is his least point. Flew about for a time I did, but presently tired, made my way to the Forbidden Chamber. But alas, exhaustion took me unawares in the Fox Chamber. I knew no more. Seemed the pieces are still in place. Is Blackwell up to his tricks again? I don't know what to say. Is the defendant real life? So that rumor about Mayor Tenma is true? I knew yokai were real. You mean he really did kill the alderman just so he could release Tenma Taro? Order, order! Now he's got everyone in the courtroom believing in yokai. It's Simon Says on steroids. He wants to convict our client any way he can, even if it means blaming a yokai. The proverbial ducks are all in a row. You should now have no qualms about finding the accused guilty or wrongness. This is one of the most bizarre cases in my entire career. Otherworldly, in fact. Can yokai even be prosecuted under our legal system?
Objection!
Mayor Tenma is just pretending to be Tenma Taro to protect his daughter. Plus, I already proved how a third party could have escaped from the locked room. A verdict at this point would be premature. Since both sides have raised valid points, I have no choice but to...
Silence!
This is the dark age of the law where defense attorneys are not to be trusted. Oh, hello. This is but a ploy to gain time for them to fabricate evidence. How will I sleep tonight? Knowing you will not let the sun rise on the mayor's day of reckoning, Justice Dono.
Objection!
I won't fabricate any evidence.
Silence!
Then prove it by joining me. A night in the clink will ensure you will not succumb to temptation. How about I just promise not to succumb to anything? We have both evidence and a confession. The killer is this yokai before us. It is beyond dispute. A guilty verdict is all. What's wrong with him? Prosecutor Blackwell, we've had enough of your hijinks. The foundation of justice is fair play, and you are in serious violation of that. What the devil is that? Fulbright, have you tampered with my shackles in some manner? Ha 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 ha! It seems you found that quite shocking. It's my special jolt of justice device. Each press is a shocking reminder to behave. You shall pay for this. I, Simon Blackwell, got to... Ah! Your Honor! You need not fear now. I believe Prosecutor Blackwell will remain in his best behavior. A bit late with the reassurances, aren't we, Detective? Well, in that case, this concludes today's deliberations. The prosecution and defense will use this opportunity to further their investigations. This court is adjourned. Well then. That was a long one. Yeah, alright. So we're proving that the yokai can fly, or could fly. So we need to figure out how he flew, because, of course, cases with flying suspects. And then we have to, at some point, prove who
did it because we basically know because we saw the beginning of the case there. So we need to get that guy on the stand. And the staff is weird, right? The jangly staff. Why? What was the jangly staff? And did he have it when he was flying? Or did it help him fly in some way? There's lots to figure out. And this has already been a longer upload. So, I am going to sign off, and I'll talk to you guys next time.